Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, before I get started, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Racha HaKwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth and rule well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect pushing his word throughout the four corners of the earth in truth, righteousness, and sincerity. To USA Shalom. This is the brother Yeshaya coming at you again through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. This video is going to be in transit. Pretty much just go to the spirit because I was meditating on something. I figured I'd go live and speak on it. But what was going through my mind was that precept where it goes into the time of the Gentiles to be fulfilled, right? Because we're living at the end of this thing. We're living at a time where we're reaching the end of that time period, man, where the heathen are going to be in these positions of power, being over us, subjugating the children of the Lord, right? But we're coming to the end of that, right? Let me see if I can find it. Bear with me. Slovakia. Trying to do this while driving. So this is the book of Luke 21 and verse 24. It says, "And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled." Right, so we will be under the feet of these heathen, pretty much subjugated, you know what I'm saying? All the curses will be upon us, you know what I'm saying? We'll be pretty much at their mercy, so to speak, right? Until their time comes to an end, right? Because when you read in the book of Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, you know, it talks about there's a time and season for all things, man, right? And now is the time and the season for these heathen to rule, but we're coming to a point where their rulership is coming to an end, right? And Esau is the toes of that, man. We're at the end. You see, and we can go to Daniel, the 2nd chapter, because it goes into that dream that Nebuchadnezzar had, right? Let me see. Let me scroll down. And I ain't gonna make this too long. This is gonna be a quick little lesson. Let me see. Daniel 2 and verse 36, it says, "This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Thou, O king, art the king of kings, for the power of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory." Right, so it's all, you know, determined by the Lord at the end of the day. It's all determined by Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, who sits in the seat of authority, power, and rulership, right? Scriptures talk about it. I believe it's in the same chapter, the 4th chapter. Let's see if I can get it real quick. I believe it's 4 and 17. Yeah, 4 and 17. I'm gonna read this real quick. It says, "This matters by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, that to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, right? And giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men." And that's what we're seeing right now. Esau being the basis of men, you know, spoken about in the book of Job. So the Most High has full control of what's going on here in the planet Earth, right? And the Most High, you know, put a time limit on these heathen, man, to a time period until the kingdom of heaven gets established, right? Let me see. Let me get this. Set bounds. Bear with me. Scriptures talk about how he set bounds. Bear with me. So it says, hold on. Salakia, bear with me. Okay, so this is Job 14. Salakia, there's a little bit of traffic. I had to keep my head up. But this is Job 14:5. It says, seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass, right? And one of them bounds, well, there's multiple bounds. This man is not going to be able to go to the heavens. He's not going to be able to go to the deeps of the sea. He's not going to be able to touch the elect or, chip up the elect. There's a lot of things that he's not going to be able to do, but one of the major things is the time limit. He has a time restraint, right? Which is why in Revelation 12:12 it says that he shall come upon the whole earth having great wrath, roughly paraphrasing, because he knows that he has but a short time. You see? So he has a time limit, and he knows it too. But the Most High has a set date and time where this man is going to go down, and we're reaching that, man. The prophecies, that's why in 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter, it says, measures out the time diligently within itself, right? So you're measuring the time based on the prophecies and the current events that's happening, lining things up, making sure, you pretty much with that, you can tell what time we're living in. And we understand that we're living in the time of the end, right? The way Esau's moving, the warp speed, and, the technological advancements, and, certain laws and legislation being put in place, we understand that this place is on its way out, man. We don't got much longer here, right? Esau's kingdom, the time of the Gentiles, is about to be phased out, man. We're living in the end of this man's rulership. So, let me go back to Daniel, the 2nd chapter. Continue off where we left off. So it says, verse 38, and wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the well, let me skip down. Salakia. As a matter of fact, let me read that. It says, and wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven, he hath given into thine hand, and hath made thee a ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold. Right, so Nebuchadnezzar, the Babylonian Empire, is that head of gold, right? The top of this statue that he's having a vision of, or that he had a vision of. Verse 39, or dream, whatever. But it says, and after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. And that's talking about the Medo-Persian Empire, and then the Greek Empire, right? And it says, verse 40, and the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, which is talking about the Roman Empire. For as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. Right, because the Roman Empire had a military might. The way they took over the known world at that time, was through conquest, force, through their military might. Right? But it says 41, and whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it the strength of the iron. For as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. So that's talking about America. right? This is Rome 2.0, but this time, in this revitalization of Rome, there's going to be a lot of division. That's where that miry clay comes into play, right? There's a lot of division in America. You have the Democrats, the Republicans, but even between all that, America is very fragmented, right? Even amongst the Democrats, they're fragmented. Amongst the Republicans, as you see now, they're fragmented amongst the MAGAs, right? And your traditional Republican, conservative, or whatever. There's a lot of division going on, man. America is already a melting pot of different cultures and religions, and and people, and it's already a lot of division going on, and even more now, man. So much religion, so much, like, everything is all over the place, right? So there would never be no unification, no banding together, and fighting for the American cause or build back America. None of that is going to happen, man. The scriptures talk about it, how we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed, right? Roughly paraphrasing. There's nothing that these Edomites or people that are coming together to try to save America. There's nothing. There's nothing that can help America get back on its feet and come back to its former self. Again, this is all the will of the Lord. The Most High is ready to take this bitch out, man. We're at the end of this thing. We're at the toes, like I said, right? So it says, I'm gonna read it again, verse 42. Well, actually, I don't think I read this, but this is the point right here, verse 42. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. Right? And that's where we at, man. We're at the toes, man. When you look at your body, your toes at the bottom. It's the end of it, man. It's the end of your body, man. So we're at the end of the time of the Gentiles. Right? So let me get this. Let me continue on. It says, and whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. That's right. And in the days of these kings shall the Most High of heaven, which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to the other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. Right? That kingdom is talking about the kingdom of heaven. Right? And it's going to subdue all the other nations. It's going to be over all the other nations, man. Right? We're going to be up top. We're going to be on top in the kingdom of heaven. We're going to be running shit. We're going to be governing. We're going to be ruling. We're going to be telling these heathen what to do. Right? The scriptures talk about how the heathen will be our inheritance, man. They're going to be property in the kingdom of heaven. Right? So it says, verse 45, for as much as thou sawest the stone that was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it break in pieces, the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great power hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter. And the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. Right? The words of the Most High are faithful and true, man. There's nothing that's going to be able to disannul or upset what the Most High has already set in stone, man. This is going to come to pass whether you like it or not. The scriptures talk about the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing. Well, it's a vain thing to imagine that America is going to come back on its feet, and that things is going to be better again, or things is going to come back and be okay. No, things ain't going to be okay, man. Things is ready to go on a rapid. You picture like an avalanche. Picture an avalanche. Just one little thing can cause it to happen, man. And that's all that's needed. One little black swan event, one little something to just have this shit just like a domino effect, man. Just start breaking down. Hold on. Salakia. But again, this is all, the will of the Heavenly Father. The Most High has his time when he's going to make things happen. But we're seeing it happen now. Saying now the word is out, the word has gone out. Now it's time for the Most High to work, man. Right? So I'm going to leave it at that. I pray this lesson was edifying. I'm going to go ahead and close it out by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Racha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth and rule well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect pushing his word throughout the four corners of the earth in truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Until the next time, I'm going to say Shalom. Kwam Yasha Allah.